I love this pollock fishing. They just smash, grab, gloriously unsubtle. They just pull. It's never a long fight, but it's so intense. These coast pollock, the flanks are just gold. Lure fishing for bass is so much my addiction, but I can't come to the west coast of Ireland and get a flood tide during the day and not go pollock fishing. This is, look at it. A coastline like this just screams shore fishing for pollock. And make no mistake, when we were developing the Savage Gear Minnow Weedless and the Sandeel V2 Weedless, yeah, of course, I had bass very much on the brain, but in my kind of back pocket, if you like, I was thinking pollock. Those lures are perfect for pollock, and I've even pushed for a very pollock specific colour, which I'll show you. I am itching to fish this coastline with that colour and those lures. This is what Ireland is all about to me. If the world was remotely fair, I'd be given 6 months in a camper van and I'll go up and down the west coast of Ireland pollock fishing. This fishing freaks me out. And you know that colour I was on about that I pushed for pollock? That's the boy. I hope I don't fall flat on my face, but this, if you said to me, take one colour to go pollock fishing with, that would be it. I haven't cast yet. I've been told to wait, because look, it may take me a while to catch a fish, but often when you come pollock fishing, especially on a flood tide like this, it can happen sometimes straight away, especially out here where, look, you see, there's nobody here. Nobody ever comes fishing around here. That is why I love it. It's wild. So it's difficult in this wind, but I'm going to let that lure, it's a weedless design, so I'm going to let that lure hit the bottom and then try and swim it as close to the bottom as I can. And start off like that. There's hell of a deep here. And just start off with a straight retrieve. And what I'll often do, when I'm like halfway in, because obviously the angle is bringing the lure back up, I'll drop the lure back down again. I want a controlled drop, but it's really hard when the wind's in your face. First cast, nothing, but you want to watch. They often pollock, when it goes like that, the rock, they'll often dart out. When you're getting kind of ready almost to lift your lure out of the water, they'll often hit like that. I'm actually going to drop this on a tight line and try and allow for the wind. We're quite early in the flood and generally like a bit more water, but I'm just going to, having banged on about that colour, I'm just going to see if a quick colour change. Sometimes pollock can be incredibly picky. When they switch on, but sometimes, especially when you're pollock fishing, sometimes you get a lot of fish and it suddenly goes quiet, change the colour. They can get really dialed in, I think, and then switch off it. Yeah. Is that colour change? Is that fish crash diving? Oh, it's trying. It's got me in the weed. Yeah, these fish are absolute monkeys. God, pollock are weird. I changed the colour, first chuck with it. You've got to get so much leverage on them. That fish did me in the kelp. Then if you saw it on the rod, bang, 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 it just goes straight. I'm just going to see if it'll swim out. My heart is going. I don't know if you can pick up my heart on the microphone. Yo. I call it smash and grab, you know, gloriously unsubtle. I love it because the fights aren't long, they're just aggressive. That fish has done me like a kipper. I use barbless hooks, so I'm not worried about the fish is okay. I'm either going to try and wrench the fish out or it will break. What you got weed here hiding ledges, and pollock are absolute masters. I was on the angle then, so I didn't have much open water to play with. They're masters at hitting you and going straight in underneath that ledge. Yoff. You see I've got a different rod, different reel, but I had to break that fish off. It just did me like a kipper, and John he's really kindly timed Uni leader on, and I do actually trust his knots as well. Thank you, John. So I had another cotton candy, Sandeel V2 Weedless. It's weird, sometimes you can just change the colour, bang, fish, nothing, change another colour again, and then fish. That fish did me like an absolute train. I thought I had control of it as well, he says. Pollock only know one way. Down. Down, and then veer into the nearest ledge and do you like a kipper. You'll probably notice me, I crush every single barb I use in any lure fishing. I can see absolutely no point in leaving barbs on your hooks. You're going to lose pollock, as you saw. I don't want to leave lures and mouths. I don't want to end up with hooks in my hand. You keep a tight line to a fish, the hook doesn't come out. We'll go right off the front. Get in the deepest water. It's quite hard to judge when you've got this wind in your face. Put a big belly in the line. It's quite hard to judge when you hit the bottom. You want that tap, but you need little wind to do it. Oh yeah. I absolutely, you saw what I did then, don't do that. When you get a hit, that's called being overexcited at 49 years old. If you get a hit, keep winding. You saw I got a hit then and struck, don't do that. I missed that fish like an Egypt. Yeah, oh God. It's really weird. Just throwing the hook out of the lure. They're quite finicky. They don't quite seem like kind of in typical pollock aggressive mode yet on the tide. Obviously what you want is you want the pollock out feeding, hunting in that really aggressive feeding mode. That's twice now I've had, okay, one I missed like an Egypt. Twice now I've had hits, but they haven't committed. John and I have had quite a few hits from the pollock, but they're really finicky. But they're not committing, so it's kind of slowing things right down. It feels like the pollock are almost, they're hanging right close to the bottom. I'm trying to keep that, slowing things right down, keep that lure as close to the bottom for as long as possible. Almost going to try and finesse the pollock out. As you can see, we've moved location. You know, I lost that nice fish pretty quickly, did me, and we had quite a few hits, but pollock were really finicky for some reason. And I wonder, yeah, there was more, look, it wasn't rough, but there was more swell there than I thought there'd be, than we thought there'd be. And I'm not 100% enamoured pollock fishing in swell. So we've moved, find calmer conditions with a little bit of current. Oh, it's deep. Oh. Let's see if we can find a fish here. Right, I reckon you have to finesse the fish. Lure really slow, close to the bottom. Yeah, sometimes pollock are hyper aggressive. That was a really sharp, hard boom as the lure dropped. You do not want an exposed hook. If you're going to fish the bottom like this, if you're going to fish close to the bottom, that you can lose any kind of gear doing this. But that weedless design on the lure, you know, get that hook point away is really important. I'm going to fish that on a controlled stop. You see, I'll stop my line then, hit the water, stop my line. So I'm deliberately fishing that lure. It's sinking back in towards me until it hits the bottom. So I'm on a kind of controlled drop. Well, this is one of those times when I'll change colour. You know, about a couple of taps, a couple of taps from pollock. I haven't committed. It could be very small fish. But yeah, this is the west coast of Ireland. You've always got a chance at big pollock. But I'm going to change the colour of the lure. Just to see if that promotes something. Just going to try one, just underhand. Bring it right up the side of the rocks like that. Again, I'm going to control, because I've got a lot of line out, I'm going to control that drop with that weedless sandeel so it sinks, so it's fishing. You know, I've stop my lure, snap the bail arm over, on a tight line now. That lure is fishing on its way to the bottom. Never forget that with these soft plastics on jig heads. Always remember they're fishing on the way down. Huh? It might be a lump of weed. Oh, it's a fish. It can be a rat, I think. Oh, it's a pollock. Did that hit me on the drop? I was so slow to react. I didn't realise what was going on. It doesn't often work when you're in front of a camera. You say, oh, I'm going to try a technique. You hook a fish. Just ignore the fact that I slightly sort of didn't quite pick up on that fact that was a fish. Yo! Hey, you gotta love pollock. So you want to watch that when you're landing fish like this. Watch that rod tip. It doesn't go up beyond vertical. It's called high sticking. They snap it. Oh, come on, fish. I've got a longer leader on, so I can grab the leader and lift the fish. Hey! I'm going to give myself a mixture of good angling and bad angling. It took me a while to register. Look at that. Oh, look at that eye, that dark predator eye. And look, this is what I love, barbless hook. Oh, it's still gone in. Barbless hook, slip it out. And then I'll spear this fish back, head first. Thank you, fish. I'll take that. Some respects I think, yeah, I kind of did all right. But really, you know, you saw that. I kind of talking you through it. I get a hit. 10 minutes later, oh, fish is on. Because sometimes you can just whack a lure out, let it hit the bottom and rip it. And they'll smash it, but they seem to want, you know what, maybe the current, maybe it's the current. They seem to want it quite, nothing kind of too hectic. Let it sink again, because it's such a drop off here, like that. You know there are pollock hanging here. I'm going to try that controlled drop again. The other one that took me 5 minutes to register how to fish on. It's weird with lure fishing because we always think lures are fishing when they're doing that. They're coming to us. But on jig heads, you know, think about what you want the paddle tail to do. You want that tail to kick. So not only is it kicking towards you, oh, just got hit then. Yes, on the drop again. Oh. Oh. They try so hard to get in the bottom. Gosh. Jeez. Come on, my baby. Oh. Oh. No, stay away from that ledge. Oh, it's a better fish actually. The flanks on these coast pollock, the flanks are just gold. Yo, I tell you, I know I'm kind of, someone says, what are you? I'm a bass angler, but I love this pollock fishing. They just smash, grab, gloriously unsubtle. They just pull. It's never a long fight, but it's so intense. Look at that. Thank you very much, fish. I tell you, I don't know if I push that microphone to my heart. I'm a grown man, I'm a father of 2 girls, and my heart is just going. I'd be a bit of a fool not to try that, what I call it, controlled drop method. If you think about, if I never concentrated in science at school, I was useless, but think about that long line going out, snap, instead of like letting it sink on a slack line, snap the bail arm, tighten the line, and that lure is, it has to, on the angle, has to be coming in towards you, and it seems to be, I had that tap, wind down, bang. We'll try it again. They're not desperately far or anything. They hit the surface, trying to allow for the wind, obviously. The wind is kind of pumping left to right. But you're feeling for that tap. When you feel that tap, you know when I say don't strike for pollock on a straight retrieve, on the drop you feel that tap, wind down and smack them. So I hit the bottom then with nothing hit me, so I'm going to finesse the lure, almost like kind of wrassing, but with a bigger lure for pollock along the bottom. Just kind of finessing it like this. Oh, it's rough ground. And this kind of fishing, when you feel that tap, hit him or her. Oh! Cut. Bad angling, bad angling. Yeah. That's the problem with me, I get horribly overexcited. I get a couple of fish and think, oh my God, I think I'm the man. And then I go and miss the next fish like an absolute Egypt. And then fish that wall. Always with pollock, fish that water close in. That's where you might hook fish all day long, straight underneath your feet. I'm actually going to put a lure just in, off here, in a really short controlled drop now. They'll cast, what, 30 yards? And drop it into the side of this wall. Sometimes pollock fishing, you get them following you. As you come to lift the lure out of the water, they smack over the top of it. I'm going to have one last cast, okay, but because my thing. I think pollock can be colour picky. Some days they are, some days they're not. So because I've had a few hits, landed a couple of pollock on that one colour, and it's now suddenly gone quiet. I'm just going to see if my theory holds any water. I'm going to change colour to the cotton candy Sandeel V2 Weedless. This is probably my, for bass, I love cotton candy. So I'll try it for the, I know it works for pollock. Different colour, same technique, crush the barb, see if it works. If it does work, I don't know if it works, if it does work, that to me says they can switch on and off different colours. Right, let's try it. I'll do that. I'll fish exactly the same way, that controlled drop, same kind of area, see what happens. And this is the last cast, he says. Well, bang goes another one of my theories. But you see, we are fishing, this is evil ground. The mark before is evil ground. We have not lost, okay, I lost one lure, and that was to a fish that reefed me. We haven't lost a single lure in the bottom with that weedless design, that slot for the hook, bury the hook point away. It just works. It lets you fish tight to the bottom hugely efficiently.